Welcome to the Your Voice Matters Women's Retreat. We're going to shine a light on self-doubt so that you can stop second guessing yourself and start speaking your truth. I'm your host, Mitzi McMahon. Today we have with us Laurie Parente. Laurie's an intuitive guide, angel medium, and energetic healer, and she works with her intuitive guidance, angelic light language, and shamanic journeys to help her clients connect with their spiritual team so that they can heal. Welcome, Laurie. So nice to have you.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful mission you have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just one of those things I feel called to do, and here we are.
Wonderful.
Why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself or your story or how you came to be doing this work?
Well, I have always been intuitive. I've always been connected to the spiritual realms, and definitely some experiences as a child caused me to shut those down, shut down my abilities and not share what I was experiencing because it became very evident that people didn't believe in me and people didn't believe what I was saying. And I shut them down for a long, long time
Hmm.
until, life became so painful being inauthentic that I had no choice but to step into it. And when I was in my mid 40s, I took a course on mediumship and everything just kind of blew open from there. And I figured out how to own my story, live my authentic truth. And I started to share my experience with others. And it just opened up this whole new way of being for me and this whole new way of serving people.
Awesome. You know, the pain of being inauthentic is usually what gets us to move, right? It becomes unbearable and we have to shift out of it. So I totally hear you. And I think a lot of us have that similar story. So I'm so glad you were able to push through that and share your light and your gifts with the world. Um, so since we're talking about self-doubt, how do you see self-doubt?
I see self doubt as they stem from those limiting beliefs, those beliefs that we take on early in childhood that I call the not enoughs. We have some kind of grief, some kind of trauma, or someone in authority kind of imparts something to us. We take something on culturally or religiously that tells us that we are not enough in some way. And we feel like we're not strong enough, not good enough, not brave enough, not capable enough. And we really start to live this smaller version of who we are. And we create these beliefs that run these patterns in our life that just repeat and repeat and repeat until we become consciously aware of them. And I always say these not enoughs tell us not to believe in ourselves, in who we are. I know exactly that's where I was. And we keep ourselves small. We stay in our comfort zones. We distract ourselves with life. We allow others to tell us our truths. We have their opinions in our heads. We keep thinking that we are broken, that we're missing
Hmm.
something, that we need to be fixed, that at some point someone or something is going to come along and fix us or complete us. And these limiting beliefs just teach us that on the core level, we're not good enough.
Hmm.
And as long as we stay in these beliefs and stay in our heads and let this negative chatter run our lives, we focus on ruminating about the past, the fear of the future, and we just cannot be authentically ourselves. And as we said, at some point, that pain just becomes so clear, either physically or emotionally, or we have this soul calling that we just have no choice but to step into living life in a different way. And I think when we get to that point and we say, enough, something needs to give, that's when our angels step in and go, she's ready. Let's bring her something. Let's put her on this path. Let's put some teachers on her path. Let's put some people on her path, some conversations. Let's let her see something that where she just goes, oh, there's more to life than these limiting beliefs.
Well, there's so many good things that you said there, and I resonate with so much of them. One of them being we let other people tell us what's true for us, and we think of ourselves as broken. I actually got full body chills hearing you say that because it's just whether we're conscious of it or not, that's a belief that we carry, that we feel somehow that we're broken. So it's really powerful stuff. And I love how you said angels put things in your path, because that's your thing, right?
Right.
You're sort of a connection, an angel medium and angelic light language. Um, so I'm assuming that you have experienced self-doubt. You sort of alluded to that. How did you work through it? Or do you want to tell us a little bit about how it showed up for you and then how you managed to work through it?
Um, well, I think self-doubt was just a pattern in my life. Like I remember being in university and I was getting my psychology degree and I wanted to be a counselor. And in Canada, we have a GPA system, so it's out of 4. And I graduated with my first degree with a 3.9. I was invited to do a master's, and I thought, well, I'm not good enough. I'll never make it, and I didn't apply.
Oh,
Right? And you just look at all those things that came along, all those patterns that came along. And now I know, it all worked out as it should. Things happened the way they did because they did. Um, but I just look back at so much self-doubt. And my mom passed when I was just after I'd gotten married in my mid 20s, and I had this breakthrough of seeing spirit and being around spirit, and I just told everyone what was going on, and I right away got that backlash. This is crazy. You're nuts. You just and so everything got smaller and smaller and smaller again, until I was at this point in my mid 40s. The kids were a little bit older. I was starting, what am I doing? I'm teaching piano. Like, it just feels like there's more to me. And I just one day said, I need something more. And I happened to be on Facebook, and this course for James Van Praagh mediumship came. And I just went click and paid for it. And what have I done? Right? And now I just see it was that surge of energy from my angels just nudging me forward. And right away, the very first meditative journey I did with him, I met with my mom and my Nana in spirit. And it was incredible. That love is like nothing you can feel here. Like, I love my family, but that love is different. You know this, right?
it's so unconditional, right?
And and it was interesting because I wasn't like I was just receiving messages from them, seeing them. I was with them as a being of light. I was watching the 3 of us communicate.
Oh,
And it changed
awesome.
my life like that. It just
Wow.
changed my life because it just took me from my limited self into seeing, I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in this physical realm. And I am so much more than I ever was led to believe. And I am
Yes.
so much more powerful. I used to think life was just happening to me, but it's happening for me, and I am co-creating it. And this is why I am so passionate about leading people to connect with their spiritual teams, because this is how it began for me, connecting with my loved ones. And from there, I created this meditative space for myself where I would go into meditation, and I called it my energetic boardroom. And I would sit with my entire spiritual team. And there would be guides and angels and mentors and my loved ones. And I'd just in the morning say, who wants to teach me today? And it just became this curious, fun journey of connecting with my spiritual team and really getting into that life is happening for me. And how can I move through it in a better way without all of this self-doubt and this imposter syndrome and this victim and all this stuff that's been plaguing me? How can I move into that? Now, in my regular life, it took a little while for my friends and family to catch up to me. But I just had that confidence from that experience of being with my mom and Nana and seeing myself as a being of light. I just had this confidence, and I would say to people, I'm perfectly safe living a life that you don't understand. It's
Mm,
okay,
that's a big one. There's
right?
so many good things in your story. I resonate, and I'm sure our listeners will resonate as well. One of them that struck me is when we're younger, it seems, well, let me back that up. It seems like when we get a little older, we're willing to take the chance and take the risk. So when we're younger, maybe we're busy managing kids and a job in the house and all of the things that go with that, and we just don't have the bandwidth. But somewhere in the 30s, 40s, we start taking stock, and again, like you passed up that opportunity at university, but then it came around a different, and it was more of feels like a force behind you that pushed you this way. Like, okay, it's time now, Laurie, go down this road.
Right.
So good. And I love the confidence that you came back with after you had your first meditation where you saw yourself. And there's something that I had something similar, and there's something that happens when all doubt is erased,
Mhm.
right? You just come back, and now the trick is to embody that knowing while we're here in body on the planet. So,
Right. Well, I
wow.
mean, that's the definition of healing, is to allow more light of our
Ex-
own light into our bodies.
exactly. Our
Right.
more of our soul to shine through.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So when you help people connect with their spiritual team so that they can then begin experiencing these things, and this then helps them to heal, one of the ways that they heal is by releasing what no longer serves them.
Hmm.
So can you speak to the self-doubt and some of the ways that it can be released?
So, in my experience, in working with my own journey and also working with clients, there's kind of three ways that we work with releasing. And one of them is we really need to look at something is coming up for us. It's on our mind all the time. We just know that we need to dive into it. And these big things, or a bunch of little things that add up to a big thing, I find that we really need to get into the story of them. We need to actually give ourselves permission, which many times as women, we're not given permission to lean into that victim story from our perspective, not as a blame game, but from our perspective. What happened? And what were the feelings? And allow ourselves to feel those feelings, because many of those feelings, many of those stories, we've all been through so much, those feelings just got stuffed down and they got stuck to us energetically, and they're causing disease and discomfort. And we have to say, this is what happened and this is how I felt. And we have to process it. So I
So
feel,
important.
right, with those big things that come up, we can no longer just say, oh, we don't talk about that. And whether you do it with a friend or with a counselor or with your journal or walking in the woods, however you want to do it, you've got to get into that victim story, which is so counterintuitive to how we've been raised, right?
Agreed. Feeling the feelings is so important. There's no way to get around this.
No,
And, in my experiences, we do a lot to avoid that.
right. And that resistance just adds more layers of fear, more layers of suppression, right?
Right.
So that's one of the ways that we release. Another one of the ways that we release is we do an energetic healing to release a layer of something, maybe something we didn't know about, and that brings us to something that we need to work with. So sometimes we kind of need to peel off a layer. We release absolutely in layers because, as my guide showed me once, if they gave us it all to release at once, we would all spontaneously combust. There's no way our nervous systems could handle it. We would just blow up. So
Yeah.
so sometimes we need to go right into the victim story. Sometimes we need a little help releasing a layer of it so we can get into that story. And the third way is sometimes we can just work with an energetic healer and just release things that are ready to go.
Hmm.
There are some things that we are carrying that perhaps are not ours, or they are something that we thought we'd bring into this journey that we might need, but we don't need it, or we've taken something on culturally, or it's in our genetic line, and these things sometimes are just ready to go. So I work a lot with clients doing these shamanic journeys that my guides have taught me,
Hmm.
so that we can release all that's ready to go without having to dive into it, if that makes sense.
It does. The shamanic journeys can be so powerful. You can get enough information to satisfy the brain, and then you can also then just let go. And
Right.
beautiful
And just
work.
release. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very it's interesting how simple it is.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's a big one. I have been guilty of trying to overcomplicate things. So
Right? We
you're
all
preaching to the
have,
choir here,
right?
right?
When things are ready to release, they just go,
Right,
right?
right. Awesome.
So if it's all right with you, I would love to lead a little shamanic journey just to release those things that are ready to go.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Great.
Absolutely.
Um, I always say this is the first step of beginning the greatest love affair with yourself. Because when you love and trust and accept yourself, you love and trust and accept life, and you love and trust and accept others. But it has to
Awesome.
come from you.
Absolutely.
I know you mentioned at the top that I do channel angelic light language. So I will just explain it a little bit. It's a language that comes from the angelic realm, and it bypasses our thinking brains and just goes into our bodies wherever it is needed. And if you've ever been to a sound bath or any kind of energetic healing, it's just like that. It's just a different form of energy. So I just say, release any kind of doubt and just allow it to happen. Don't try to go, what is that? What is she doing? Just let it go.
Just allow.
Just allow.
Awesome.
And I always say when I'm leading a journey, I'm usually saying, we're going to go here or see this or do this. I do find sometimes people will go someplace completely differently, and that's fun. Be curious, be excited. And some people do see, like they'll just see it like a movie on their inner screen. They really have that ability to see. And other people will have a very blank screen and just feel it. Or they might see snippets or hear things or smell things. So it's really important to just allow it and don't have any expectations. And if you find yourself going, what are we doing? Where are we going? And that mind starts, just breathe and come back to your heart.
Great tips. Yes, just let it be what it is for you, right? Yeah,
Yes.
everyone's different. Yeah, great tips.
Everyone is different. And sometimes we just think we should be doing it a certain way. And the really only the way to do it is your way.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to experience this.
Great. So I'm just going to grab a drink and we'll get
Okay.
started.
Okay.
Channeling takes a lot of energy, so always important for water, right?
Right.
Great. Okay. So just ask everyone to start to settle into where you are and just move about and get comfortable and start to deepen your breath. Take in some of those deep belly breaths where you're allowing your belly to expand and contract. And as you continue to breathe, I want you to just imagine a column of light coming from the heavens and descending down and floating down your whole body and going right into the earth. And just notice how you feel safe and peaceful and calm. And then I want you to imagine out in front of you a ball of light, and this light may have some color, and just allow that to come straight into your heart and fill up your entire torso and run down your arms and your legs and up through your head until you feel that you are in a bubble of light. And this is just us inviting in our angels and our spirit helpers. I want you to imagine out in front of you a gate or a door or a passageway. You may see it clearly, or you may just know it's there. And go ahead and go through that gate, that door. And as we come through, we're going to notice that we are on the banks of a river. And you can allow this river to be anything you want it to be. It can be big and wide and running wildly, or it could be small. Just use your imagination and see yourself or feel yourself on the banks of a river. And you can go ahead and sit down. And if you want, you can put your feet into this glorious water. It's a beautiful temperature. Now I just want you to imagine a member of your spiritual team coming up to you, and you may notice that there's more members kind of in a semicircle around you. You may see them, you may feel them, or you may just know they're there. And imagine that they are pointing out to you all of the pebbles and the rocks and the boulders that are beside you on this riverbank. And they are helping you to notice these because these are your limiting beliefs, the doubts, the not enoughs that you are carrying that are ready to release. And you may notice they feel energetically heavy. You may feel that they're kind of holding you back. And I want you to notice that some are big, some are just tiny pebbles, some are rough, some are smooth. You may see some different colors. They may feel differently to you when you put your hands near them. And I want you to just start one by one, picking up these rocks, these pebbles, these stones, and throwing them into the river. And as you throw them in, notice that a spark of light occurs. And some of them may be big, and you may need members of your spiritual team to help you push them into the river. And as they get pushed in, just see that spark of light. And as you continue to throw and roll and skip these rocks into the river, there's some light language coming through to help you to continue releasing these not enoughs, these limiting beliefs that are ready to go. Ala bosokone ana numare ana sateke asukuta na martkure ana sate dosake ananake sukutke are no mosote kanata kote ana patake gasana are akosutu takana no no marakara tukata tatete kiatko potkana sakatea gasane kareon koko. Keep going. Keep throwing these in and notice with each one you feel lighter and lighter. And you can even see yourself on this riverbank getting lighter and lighter and glowing. With each stone that we throw in, you are filled with more light. And there's just a few more now. Get those big ones in there. Allow them to go. They are ready. You don't need them anymore. And throw them into the water. And as the last one hits the water, see this huge, beautiful golden and white light sparking coming from the water, and just invite that light into who you are. And notice how that feels. And it feels good to you because it is who you are. It is your light, your love, your divine being that you are inviting in and embodying. And again, there's a little more light language just to help you with any resistance around this. Dosa e ore anasate kana putatete tosote anakare anaksate. And just see yourself glowing with this light, and everything around you is glowing as you expand your energy beyond your physical body and into this beautiful scene of this flowing river. And your spiritual team is just championing you, and they are so happy for you and so proud of you. And at this time, if you wish to invite one of them forward, perhaps an angel or a loved one, and sit with them and really see them or feel them And you may ask them for a message at this time. And not to worry if you don't hear anything. Messages will come quickly in spurts. You may hear something later. You may have a dream later. Just sit with them in the love that you are, sharing the love that they are as one. And just spend a moment in gratitude for this moment, for who you are, for living your authentic life, for moving beyond these doubts and these fears, and seeing yourself as whole and complete and capable. When you're ready, you can stand up and you can thank your team, whether you see them or feel them, or you just know they're there. Thank them, invite them into your daily life. Thank the river. And when you're ready, you can say your goodbyes, your so long for now, and you can bring this energy of who you are back through your gate or your doorway or your passageway and come back to where you are in this physical world. And we're going to come back a little bit slowly. There's been a lot of energy here, so I want you to just move your toes a little bit. Bring your energy to your ears, to your nose. Move your hands around. Start to roll your shoulders up and back. And you can just say, I call my energy back to this time and place. And so it is. And take some deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can slowly, slowly open your eyes, just with a soft focus at first. Put a smile on your face and know that something really powerful and magical has happened.
That was amazing. Thank
Welcome
you.
back. You're welcome. It was very interesting because my guides will give me like kind of an outline of what is going to happen, but then we just go.
We go off script, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that was amazing. I loved your light language. I channel light language as well. So I'm always fascinated by what comes through for when other people do it. And I felt yours on the backs of my shoulders. So maybe that means I'm carrying stuff there. We need to let go. Yeah, just amazing.
Or it's maybe just a support. Perhaps it's Archangel Michael just coming in with that. You know, he always says, "I've got your back," right? No matter
Right.
what's going on in your life, I'm just telling you, I'm here. We always go to, oh, there's something I need to do, but
Oh,
maybe
right.
it's just the angel presence, because that's what's coming through me of Archangel Michael with his big wings, just saying, "I got you."
Oh, that's a really good point. Just being able to receive, right?
Right,
And not have to always be doing.
right.
I love that. I had a whole team of people show up for me. So that was really fun.
Wonderful. And once you've done this journey, once somebody's led you through it, then you can just go there yourself anytime, right? And sit on
Right.
the riverbank and connect with your team and say, who wants to teach me today?
I also loved the spark of light when we threw the stones in the water and then you saw the spark of light. That was really cool.
Just transmuting it back to love, right?
Right.
That
Right.
light coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. That was really awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're
It's a
welcome.
real treat for us. Um,
Very
so
excited to share. I'm very, very grateful.
yeah. Um, so I understand that you have a free gift to share. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I have a free guide that I've curated after working with many clients. Of it's a written guide of how to connect with your loved ones in spirit. because it's the first way that I connected, it's the way that I love to connect other people. And it just gives you a step by step of how to go into meditation and how to meet with them. So I offer that as a free guide. And I just love it when people say, I met with my mom, or I saw my dad, or I connected with someone. And that connection changes you,
It
changes you for the
does.
better. Yeah.
It sounds amazing. Thank you so much. So for those watching, you can click the link below to pick that up. And Laurie, do you have any last piece of advice or insight you'd like to share?
Uh, I just, in these times, it's so important we take care of our physical selves, our mental selves, our emotional selves. It's so important to have a practice that we take care of ourselves energetically, because we're always interacting energetically and we're always picking up stuff and things are always sticking to us. And it's so important to just find what works for you, be it meditation or tapping or dancing or whatever it is, to allow that energetic cleanse at least once a day, if not morning and night.
Awesome. Very important advice. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. It's been great having you. For those tuning in, be sure to click below to download Laurie's free guide, and be sure to tune back in for the rest of our Your Voice Matters retreat. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You're so welcome.